Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. My name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording October 2nd, 2023, Monday, the day after the Eagles won their first divisional game of the season against the Washington Commanders. What you got to say, Dad?
Well, I got to say a lot of things today, but I'm going to try to be real positive. I'm going to try to keep a negative to myself. I've listened to a lot of different people talk about yesterday's game. A lot of them were positive. I am probably not going to be as positive, so I'm going to watch what I say.
That's fine.
A very happy day. They won the game, but it should have been put away in regulation. They should have never went to overtime.
That's fine.
And I think, we had a good crowd out yesterday. I had a lot of fun, but a lot of mad people. We had to kind of separate each other from every once in a while, but it was a little bit nutty. I was very, I don't want to say disappointed. I don't think, the offense finally found its ground, but.
Yeah. And we'll get into that stuff, yeah. Overview the episode. We'll, of course, we'll give a recap on the Eagles-Commanders game. We'll choose our MVP, talk about what we're looking to see more of, a little bit of roster talk, and then some injury talk. And then we'll go into some top plays and talk about some other sports and some other matchups and everything like that we saw on the weekend. As always, we want to give our plug to the club, the Philadelphia Eagles Fan Club of Colorado Springs. We meet at Frankie's every single Eagles game. Please come on out and enjoy the game with us. Have a fun time with us. And we'd love to see you all there. I believe we had 51 was the Bax number the other day. So we're still looking to get some more people. I mean, 51 last year at week 4, probably 36. You know what I mean? There is some more people coming, so we're happy to see that.
A lot of new folks. And, come up and see us, say hi. We come out and look for you. If we see the new people out there, we come out and introduce ourselves. But at the same time, don't be afraid to come meander. We're right in the very front of the big screen. Can't miss us.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, well, then let's go ahead and just jump on into it. We've said our hellos. Of course, the Eagles played their first divisional game of the season. Like I said, I am wearing my 2017 Division Champions shirt in honor of our first divisional win of the season. Very happy to finally, get a 1-0 in that chart, as well as a 4-0 on the big board. But as far as the scores, 34-31 in overtime, we both agree that it's a game that definitely should not have gone to overtime. So a little disappointing, and I don't want to say disappointing, upsetting at times. But we'll go and just talk about the performance. Offense, Dad, what do you have to say about the offense?
Well, again, I was just very disappointed. I mean, the offense was great. The passing game was really excellent. We left the running game a little early, but we get into that as well. But it was great. The passing game was good. That the Commanders have a great defensive line, and we knew it, and we still threw all over on them. But there was a lot of pressures early on. We did have a lineman go down, so there was no surprise there. We knew they were going to come at us. We knew they had a good defensive line coming. So we knew the passing game was going to be tough. But Hurts looked almost like last year. I'm not quite, but there were some great passes, some great dingers. We got away from the running game a little too early. But again, I'm going to be positive this week. The play calling was not so positive. That's the thing that really got me down. I just don't understand it. I don't know what we're doing. 2nd and 4, and we're throwing the ball, and I can go on and on and on about that. But I would like to see some better pass play calling, because it was.
I do agree with you, and we can jump into that right now before I get into all my overviews. But, 2nd and 4, minute 48 seconds left. And
at the
28-yard line, we throw a bomb into the end zone. Great throw, great catch. Not going to take anything away from that. Incredible play. And I think someone said it earlier. I was listening to some podcasts or reading stuff, and they said it's a great play at the wrong time. Yeah. And it was an incredible play. He got separation. The pass was perfect. It was spot on. Just an amazing textbook, just great touchdown pass. But it just didn't feel like it was at the right time. No. It ended up being, minute 43 seconds left on the clock after that in regulation time. And then, of course, AJ with that taunting penalty, which I know a lot of people are upset about because it was a weak flag. I don't think it warranted a penalty, but you just can't give them the option to throw the flag.
You got to know better.
And last year we talked about it earlier today. Last year we played against Pittsburgh. He caught those 3 touchdowns, and he was pointing at the 2 guys, and we loved it. And he got the flag back then. But guess what? At that point in the game, we were probably winning 25-7, 31-7. I don't know the exact score.
It was over. The game was over.
Yes, that game was over.
This game was not over, especially the way we couldn't stop them on 3rd down yesterday, which was abysmal.
Yes, absolutely. So you very disappointing play call to see there. You'd like to see them, run the ball 2nd and 4. What if they don't get any yards? Okay, well, they call timeout. They're all the timeouts. And then you run it on 3rd and 4. Say you don't get any more yards again. Okay, well, now the clock ticks down to a minute. And then you kick the field goal, and that leaves 57 seconds on the clock.
You don't lose a yard there. You're kicking a 42-yard field goal.
Yeah.
He kicked the 54 in overtime. Luckily, he was against the wind, not in regulation, and he kicked with the wind in overtime. But still, a 42-yarder. But we would have gained some yards because it was all we had to do was get 5 or 6 yards. It would have been first down 0, 1-10, 5 seconds left, field goal, game over, no overtime.
Yeah. Well, and we would have, that people have said, well, what if he missed it? Well, if he missed it, they would have gotten the ball back with 57 seconds left. And if he makes it, AJ doesn't get that penalty, right. And then they start at the 25-yard line with 56 seconds left and no timeout. It's a game of time, and you need to know that. And I was just a little bit disappointed to see that. I know it was hard because you want to cheer when you score a touchdown. We do the chants and all that stuff every touchdown. But I remember they scored, and I high-fived some people, but I went to you right away, and you and I were like, that was a little upsetting. There's way too much time. Our defense, I don't know trust in our defense yesterday.
It's nice to have the touchdown lead, but at the same time you're going, but we could have won the game. It's kind of like, what's his name, going down at the 1-yard line against the Cowboys all those years ago. The game's over. We don't need to score a touchdown. In that game, we just needed a field goal. That's all we needed to do. Sure. And who knows, we could have been kicking a 27-yarder if we just ran it 3 times or whatever, 2 times.
I mean, what if Swift broke an 11-yarder and gets down, and now it's first down and it's over?
But, when you throw the ball, there's always a chance of a tipped ball at the line, pick off, drop ball in the end zone, interception in the end zone. I mean, you just open. You got to be better. You got to be better against every team. And we know the history against Washington. They always play us tough. Yeah. We were saying it just the other day. We could be 10-0 and they could be 0-10, and it's going to be the same kind of thing. It's going to be a tight game.
Always ridiculous. But to move on from that, I'll go ahead and just talk about my goods. Passing game, like you said, looked phenomenal. Hurts was 25 of 37, 319 yards, 2 touchdowns. AJ 9 catches, 175 yards. Of course, 2 touchdowns, the one we already talked about. Devontae 7 catches for 78 yards. Amazing catch down the middle to get us some points before the half. Which I was saying to everyone, especially to you, if we don't score before the half, we're going to lose this game. Yeah, I said it, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, we don't need no picks," and I'm like, "No, but we have. If we do not score before the half, we will lose this game." And I was right because
that was the play of the game, in my opinion. I mean, you have several, but that was the play. We needed to get at least a field goal before halftime. Yeah. We got the ball back after halftime, and what did we do with the ball?
We went down and scored.
That's right, and we took the lead, right? I mean, but that was really rough. Really rough.
Run game, disappointing, like you said. We did get over 100 yards. I think we ended up with 105 yards as an offense, which, that's all right. 104, I'm sorry. Yeah. 104 yards, so we got over 100. Swift, 14 for 56. Hurts, 9 for 34. Gainwell, 9 for 14. Average of 3.9, which isn't great, but you take away some of the QB sneaks that Hurts ran and some of the terrible quarterback draws. I believe I did the math. Our average went up to 4.1 yards a carry, which is pretty good. So it wasn't great. Gainwell had that horrible fumble. I'm getting tired of the whole force Gainwell to get the ball. We got to have him get the ball. I'm getting a little tired of it. I like Gainwell, and I think he's great in certain areas, certain situations. That was not the one I would have done.
No, the problem with that is, they bring him in on 3rd down. Like, if he's going to carry it 2 or 3 times in a row, that's fine. But it's Swift. They bring him in for one play, and there it goes. He's had 2 or 3 times now. He
drops in on the 3rd down or the 4th down or the second, the 3rd down on a drive, and you're like, well, why? We were just doing great with Swift. Why would you do that? But running game wasn't there. Still, though, almost 4 yards a carry, so it's not like it was impossible. But also, we're down. It's hard to run when you're down. You want to get up. Defense, it was the opposite of the first 3 weeks. I was on here the last 3 episodes, or 6 episodes, praising this defense for how great it was because the offense was doing bad, and the defense was doing as great as it could have done given how bad the offense was doing at that time. But yesterday it swapped places. The offense, it seemed to be firing on all cylinders, but the defense was the opposite. I mean, thank God the defense was actually good, or the offense was actually good this week, because it would have been horrible if the offense played like the last few weeks, or maybe not last week, but if they played like the Patriots, this is a different game. We would have lost.
Right. But I mean, the one thing about the offense this week, and I'm sure you felt it as well as I did, that it seemed like every time we got the ball, we knew we were going to move it. You know what I mean? We think we punted once, right?
Yeah, maybe
twice. But
I get you.
It was a great punt that we had there late in the game, but put them down at the 7-yard line or something. But yeah, we
3 punts.
3 punts. Okay. Well, there's probably one early in the game when we dookied it, but there was some. It was rough out there, but I mean, it just seemed like when the offense got the ball. Well, let's say maybe after halftime, they could just score it at will, and it sure looked like it. It felt like it to me.
Yeah.
The good thing about yesterday that they did go to the passing game early. You know, of course, you hate them to abandon that running game, but they were throwing it early and often, and it was working.
Yeah.
We still didn't see much go Goddard's way.
We'll talk about that.
Tough, but,
we'll talk about that.
You know,
moving on to special teams, Jake Elliott is phenomenal. He's the MVP of the season. I mean, it's no surprise, but it has to be said. He's just been incredible. He's just been so clutch. I think I saw he's made 7 of the last 8 of his attempts of 54 yards or more. That's just incredible. You know, he's also I think that was also one of the I think it was the 3rd longest game-winning punt in overtime ever. Or sorry, the 3rd longest game-winning field goal in NFL history, which is unbelievable. And he just does it. It's funny how the confidence of it that we have in him, not just that he has in himself or the team has in him, that we as fans have in him. I mean, when he was kicking a 54-yard field goal and they say, "Oh, it's a 54-yarder," I was kind of like, "Oh, okay, like we're good."
Yeah. I still left my seat and went around the side.
Well, that's just you have to do that. That's just how it is. You would have missed it if you didn't. The punter, he had 1 good punt, 2 not so good, like we said. 3-punt average of 43 along of 48. One of them was a shorter one because he was trying to get it inside the 20. He did not get it.
No, he didn't. That was right.
But then in the end, at the end of the game, he did have a really good punt that got them down to, I believe, the 7 or the 6. Yes. So that was a really good one. Still rough. I know a lot of people are making jokes about we're just going to keep on signing punters at the practice squad and keep on trying them out just to see what happens. And we just maybe just bank on the fact that we're going to try to punt as least amount as possible, I guess. But Covey had 3 returns for 38 yards, a long of 20. Looked great again. Not as great as against Tampa Bay because he had more chances, I believe. I don't know how many times the Commanders didn't really punt often.
But their confidence for me was up there.
Yeah.
You know, like you knew he was going to catch it. You knew he was going to, be smart about it.
Sure.
And he did get us, like you say, a 20-yard return. And one time he got us, to 45 or something?
Yeah, I mean, he got us to our side of the field.
Yes.
Yeah, the punter on Washington, he punted 5 times. 2 of them were not returned, went out of bounds or something like that. But Covey had 3 returns for 38 yards, average of 12.7. He looks great. I'm just happy to see that he's still doing good. I know a lot of Eagles fans in the past have not liked him, and I just love this guy. I mean, when he was in Utah, he was great. But he's just been really good. So the special teams overall looking really good. The holder, a new holder, hasn't affected Jake yet. So I think it's great. If we keep on doing what we're doing, I think we're going to be okay because our special teams coach seems to be a lot better than he was last year. Move on over to ask you, what do you want to see more of?
Wins. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, I'd like to see them continue to run the ball at a better clip than they did yesterday. I would like them not to give up a 14-point lead or let them score 14 in the first quarter. We were down 14-7. But, it was just defense. I'd like to see them play a little bit tighter. It just seems like these teams know that we're going to be playing with that defensive line we've got, so they've got to get rid of the ball quick. So why are we giving a 10 or 15-yard cushion to these guys?
Yeah.
And if you can't, keep them at the line, at least have somebody over the top or behind that can shoot the gap when he gets behind you because it was just awful. I mean, all day long there was – and it wasn't like they were throwing it to some no-name. They were throwing it to McLaurin. McLaurin. So, I mean, they know he's the guy. Dotson's good, but, I mean, cover the top receiver – better than they've been doing the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I think something's going to change there because they just keep on giving them a 10 to 12-yard cushion every single time, and I'm getting a little bit tired of it. And I wish that you think the defensive coordinators would say, hey, defensive backs, they were sacked 9 times last week. They know that they're going to have to get the ball out quick because they were sacked 9 times last week, and our defensive line is probably better than those guys. Right. So, I mean, better, I know, but it's probably better. So get up Linebackers, stay up. Don't jump off. That gives him now they're open. That's what Eli Manning used to do to us all the time. He would get the ball. I feel like we never sacked him because he'd get the ball out.
Well, Drew Brees did the same thing all the time.
They get the ball out within 2 seconds, 2.3 seconds.
Tight.
Yeah, stay on him. And I shouldn't say I felt like we never sacked Manning because we did.
No,
you know what I mean. Early on, he got the ball out so quick. But
there was that 3rd and 8 yesterday.
Yeah.
And they got it like it wasn't even hard. It wasn't even contested. It was easy. And you're like, what are you doing? I mean, it was bad. I know we've had injuries. Everybody has injuries, blah, blah, blah. But we got to do better. We got to do better.
For me, what I want to see more of, like you said, I want to see the corners get up a little bit more. But my number one is Goddard. I know everyone watching knows I'm a huge Goddard fan. I just want to see more of him. He only had 2 catches, 25 yards, only had 4 targets. But maybe he's not getting the separation he was getting last year.
Possible.
But and I know he's great in the run game. He's another lineman out there in the run game. But, man, I want to see more of him.
For Goddard to have 80 yards total after 4 games is just not work. It's not going to work. It's not going to help. We need him to be that threat that he was. We don't need him to get 150. We just need 40, 50 yards a game.
Absolutely.
2 or 3 first downs. And that opens up the entire playbook.
If I could get 6 catches for 65 yards a game, 60 to 65, 70 yards a game, that'd be great.
Oh, you'd be a good tight end in the NFL then.
I mean, you'd just open up the offense so much more, the run game and AJ and Devontae. But I don't want to stick on it too long. I know,
but you can tell when you watch the game, you can see that the other team is definitely. Scheming him out of the game.
Fair.
And it's been, every week you could see there's somebody in front and somebody behind. So let's exploit that to the point where he is going to be open.
Fair,
We had a couple good ones we had a 17-yarder yesterday. So that was good. I mean,
and maybe the plan of the offense, maybe I'm not smart enough to know the plan, but maybe the plan is we're going to hit Brown if you're going to single coverage him because they're double coveraging Goddard at times probably, and that brings Brown open. So maybe in the long run, when we're game 8, they're going to go, we got to start covering Brown. Maybe that's Goddard time. But moving on over to how our selected players played, mine was Goddard. I already said 2 catches for 25 yards. I should probably go back and check watch the game again just to see how he did on blocking because he probably was phenomenal. We didn't run much, though, so maybe not. But not good for my guy. That's the first time I was 3 for 3, so it's a little
upsetting. Yeah, you didn't have the breakout player of the week. That's what you're trying to say there.
Who did you have?
I believe I had Blankenship, and I think he played a good game. I can't say anything bad about him at all.
8 tackles total.
He's just everywhere. He comes up and makes a play or 2 on the ball occasionally. I can't say there was a time that he was really burnt. He's just a great player, and he's just getting better. We just need a few more guys like him out there, and I think we'll be in good shape because he's developed into a phenomenal, football player. So
in a way, he was the savior of the game. I mean, he had 2 passes defensed, and then he also had moved the guy out of bounds because he stepped on his arm.
I don't know
if that was intentional, but he saved the game in a way there, man. That was scary.
It's funny how that looked, everybody at first, I right away was like, he's out of bounds. Then when we were looking at it, it looked like it was a heel-toe situation where his hand was on the arm. But then, did his toe touch the white line? I think it's just who you are.
I know there was some angles that showed his foot. It looked like it was in bounds, but it hadn't touched the ground yet. When it touched the ground, it was on the white. When it was up in the air, still on the arm, it was in bounds until it didn't touch, though. That's the problem. But, that was a little scary there on that one. But, he had a great game.
Game winner, that just would have kept that was a drive into overtime that we got the ball back.
Was that overtime?
I believe so, It was 4th. There would have been 3rd and 5, and we stopped them.
Okay.
One of the few times we stopped them yesterday. But you did say they punted 5 times, which...
Yeah, I know that is a lot more than I.
Yeah,
they punted 1 time in overtime, so that's one of them.
Right.
But 4 times throughout the rest of the game, they did punt.
I mean, in the second half, we scored right before the half, and then we got the ball in the second. We did have our opportunity.
Yeah.
Of course, the other opportunity we have is when we went for 3 on that awful set of downs. We had Hurts run with the 15-second down. He runs straight into the line, and then we did the
end-around fumble.
That was another pathetic play. I don't know what they're doing. But it's that second down, that 1st and 2nd down. First down, you got to get 5. Second down, you got to get 2. You got to be in a third and 3 or less. That's the team we are.
So you're right. It was overtime. Sorry, it was 3rd and 5 when that play.
Yes, I know it was. But
and then what's his name? Tressway or something like that. The punter for
he shanked it.
He shanked it. Yeah, 29-yard punt. I mean,
yeah, that was ugly. And we got it with the 45, right? 42, something in that area.
I think we ended up getting at our 41.
Yes,
so it was our 41, and then we went on down
but of course. I don't want to get into it, but when we got the, we're driving, we think we're going to do it, and then we get the other penalty they called on us, the
intentional grounding.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to talk about that one now.
Well, I mean, I wanted to be positive today. That's going to be the name of the episode today. Is going to be positivity in a win. And of course, I know we always hear from my brother-in-law Jake. He said you're the 2 Eagles fans that complain when you win.
Yeah, it's true.
And we do. I have to admit,
my brother-in-law, his son-in-law, yes.
We left the game yesterday. I wasn't happy. I mean,
yeah.
Everybody else is cheering and leaving, and then but I'm watching these shows, talking about the game, and the offense, and I just luckily we'll take the win.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
It's
4-0 is nice, but you got to play better now.
You do have to try to remind yourself all the time. We're 4-0. I mean, that's incredible. We're 4-0, and the team hasn't even played well yet. I wouldn't say well, but
I do want to touch on the referee. Just a couple of the calls. I'm not going to go too into it. The offside on the Philly push. You show me. I don't know how that works when one of their players' heads is over the ball and he's touching the ball. They said he was touching the ball. I saw his hand was past the ball. Ridiculous call to me. I don't know how you do it. If you want to end it play and you want to get rid of the play, then just make the play illegal. But I saw another 4 or 5 teams try yesterday, and they lost yards.
True.
Okay?
I saw it too.
There was a few other calls that I thought were pretty bad, but again, I know I'm a little bit biased, but that pass interference on they might have called hold on Morrow across the middle early in the goal.
Holding, yeah.
Keep the drive alive, give him a touchdown.
Cunningham.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't grab him. There was a couple other ones that were bad.
There was another one, Bradbury. They called Bradbury for pass interference in the left corner, and the ball was 12 yards out of bounds.
Well, see, to me, that I don't understand. I thought they took care of that. If you throw the ball and it's not catchable, I should be able to pick you up and put you on my shoulders.
True. I think
it's out of bounds.
That rule must have changed because I notice a lot of times the ball is thrown out of bounds and they call a pass interference.
And like you were saying,
the ball's gone.
On that particular play, I don't know if he got hit, but he was getting close to being hit.
That's another one of my beliefs. If the quarterback is touched, if he is even pinky hit his arm, the quarterback has been touched.
Not the quarterback touch, but if he does the old Aaron Rodgers throw, he's bailing out, and I think Mahomes does it a lot too. He's just bailing out and throwing it up for grabs. You can't, that doesn't, you got to do something. Something's got to change about that call.
It does.
He's bailing out because you're ready to hit him, and then they call pass interference, and the ball's 20 yards away from the guy. A hold, I get. I know it's first, the guy's running down the sideline, you grab him and hold him. But when it's in the air and it's out of bounds, it can't be pass interference.
Yeah.
That's my rant on the refs. It was bad. Hopefully they get their grades today or whatever they do with the referees. But I don't want to be complaining with the refs. I know we've had issues in the past, and every team does. And but just to change a game, you can't really change the game.
Yeah. Yes, I hate to complain about the refs, but I do agree with you. There was a lot of suspect calls yesterday that I'm not a big fan of, and I don't understand the offsides that they called on Landon. I've seen the picture. I'm looking at it right now. I don't understand.
Saying his hand, that's him right there, right? His hand is over the ball, but it's not.
It's not. I don't understand. I see the Washington's guy hand is underneath the ball.
Yes.
I don't understand it, but I don't want to complain, but it was bad. It was bad.
Every one of the Philly pushes, those guys are over the line.
Always. Yeah. Moving on to our MVP of the game, who do you have?
Well, Nick Morrow, I believe. Yeah. I mean, he was playing incredible. Well, and to put it in better perspective, he was cut from the team. He was put in the practice squad. He's, I think, a 3 or 4 year veteran.
Oh no, he's been around. I think
6 years,
5 or 6 years. Yeah.
So he was cut. And he came back on the practice squad. And then 2 weeks before, we need you, bring him up, and he's played phenomenally. I mean, he's played himself, in my opinion, for a contract.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, he has played himself well, and now what are we going to do with Nakobe Dean? Hopefully, we're not going to put him on ice like last year and let him grow again another year. But, the way Cunningham's playing, the way he's playing,
I think you put Dean in over Cunningham, and then you kind of rotate a lot.
Right.
But I don't think you can't you can't not play.
I agree.
You can't not play Dean, and you can't take out Morrow. Cunningham, he could lose some snaps.
Well, Cunningham had a stupid penalty, which you can't do. But, I mean, everybody's going to get a penalty, but I think it hit out of bounds, right? And if that was the one where Hal was running,
that was Edmonds.
Okay.
Speaking of which, Edmonds, he's done. I'm done with that.
Yeah,
he's done. When Sidney Brown comes back, when Justin Evans comes back, Edmonds is number 4. Yeah. Drop it. Stop playing this game.
Just some of the stuff he did was bad.
What do you got for Morrow's stats?
Well, Morrow had 11 total tackles. He had 3 sacks. He's only got 6 in his career, I think I heard. 6 in his career. He got 3 yesterday. 1 forced fumble, which I believe was the fumble into the end zone, I believe, on the touchdown that they ended up recovering.
It must have been.
3 tackles for loss, which is really a defensive lineman's stat. Absolutely. So, I mean, that just shows you that he's playing great as a rushing, almost rushing linebacker, like on the line. And he had 3 quarterback hits. So, I mean, you're talking 3 sacks, right? 3 quarterback hits, that's 6.
Yeah.
3 tackle for loss, that's 9. Now, they're all different plays. They're not the same play. And then you got 1 forced fumble. So, I mean,
9 plays, he was in the backfield.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Making a play.
Yes.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I mean, I know that's due to the front, our good defensive front, which didn't have the MVP game yesterday.
True.
They still closed that running game down. There was a couple that they didn't stop. And I know at one point I read something about somebody mentioned Carter missed the guy and he got a 10-yard run. I didn't really.
I mean, they only averaged 3.8 yards a carry, so they still did their job.
Yeah. And if
they did have 2 total. They did have 2 rushing touchdowns, but I mean, both of them were on the 1-yard line, and one of them was a fumble in the end zone that they recovered. So it's kind of rough.
And Hal beat us for 40 yards rushing, and 2 or 3 of them were missy sacks. Yeah,
he brought their average up.
There was a couple sacks. BG I think had him once where he got away from. Again, he's twisting and turning. But there was a couple that they let him run right up the middle. Yeah. Line collapsed wrong or somebody went to the wrong spot. But I mean that'll be fixed as well. But I can't really blame the defensive line yesterday. They just weren't as great as they've been.
True. It's not like they were garbage. I mean, they just weren't. Yeah, they weren't as dominant. Which I don't know. I don't know if Washington's line is good, but they can't be. They let up 9 sacks, and they have the record through the first, or they had the lead through the first 3 weeks, and I think they might even have it now. But we'll see. It seemed like the defensive line just didn't play as great, but I don't think I'm worried too much about it. Cox still played phenomenal. I mean, he's playing like a man possessed. But to move to my MVP of the game, I have Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott was 6 for 6 on his kicks, 4 for 4 on field goals of 41, 47, 36, and of course the 54-yard game winner. Then he both his extra points. He's feeling automatic, and I know that's dumb to say because he did miss. He's missed 1 this year at least, but that was it New England, right?
Yeah,
it was in the rain. So. But overall, he's just feeling automatic. He's feeling like he's the best kicker in the game. It's just incredible to watch a young guy. I guess I shouldn't even say he's young anymore. He's been with us since the Super Bowl season.
He's missed any extra points yet, has he?
Not this year. I wouldn't guess this year. I know he had some in the past problems.
Yeah, I know.
Extra point miss is the worst thing in the world. When you score a touchdown and you miss an extra point, I mean that to me that's like
it does bring that touchdown down.
For me, it's like it wasn't a touchdown. It's 2 field goals. Yeah. You didn't score a touchdown. The momentum is gone. It's bad because we always say, what does the extra point do if you miss it? It makes you go. It just kind of it brings you down. So, but he's been phenomenal. It's just so much fun to watch this guy. Hoping for another Pro Bowl or maybe All Pro this year. I'd love to see. I think he had a Pro Bowl 1 year as an alternate, but I'd love to see an All Pro for him. Of course,
wins the Super Bowl's a rookie. I mean, he's got 260-plus field goals in his career so far. He's only a 5-year, 6-year guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. His percentage has got to be in the high 80s, if not in the early 90s. So
I should have had that ready.
Yeah, that's he's got some misses, but like last year was an amazing year for him. So
I mean, his rookie year, he missed his first field goal ever with us, and it makes sense. There's
Zach Sturgis.
That was bad. Yeah, I know. In his career right now, it doesn't have his up-to-date stats on the new year, but he was 84.7 before the year started. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up his his full career stats, including this year so far.
So 4.7, and then one miss this year out of what, maybe 10?
Yeah, so he's got a 92% this year. So in his career, 85.3%. Long, of course, of 61, and that's twice that he hit that.
Yes.
Other than that, he's had 58, he's had 56, 53, 54, 56. That's all of his long. So he's used to hitting above 55,
How about in the Super Bowl? Did any field goals in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, he had last year or?
Biggest kick of his.
the Merrill Reese call, the greatest Merrill Reese call ever.
Right there.
Biggest kick. Or no. That wasn't Merrill Reese. It was Mike Quick. Mike Quick. The biggest kick of Jake Elliott's young career. Right there.
Great call.
Yeah, that was great.
Wonderful. Oh, did you hear the call on Merrill? I'm sure you did.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Wow. He went.
He's great.
I thought his head was going to pop off.
I know.
That was awesome, though. That was awesome.
One day, I'm looking to replace him one day. I want to be the.
Well, it's unfortunate because we don't get to listen to Merrill. These other people get to watch him, listen to him up in the East Coast. But
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's a bummer. And if you try to listen to it out here, you got to sync up your TV so you're about 13 seconds low. And
that shout out to Uncle Mike right there.
Yeah, Uncle Mike's
got that Sirius radio to listen to Merrill Reese every single week. It's awesome. Speaking of which, shout out to you guys. Hope you had a fun time at the game, Uncle Mike and Aunt Amy. I know that was probably a lot of fun. I know you like to see a beatdown, but you got an overtime game, which was probably still really awesome.
That made your $350 tickets
a little bit worth it.
That's right. Well, I mean, if you're gonna go to a game once a year, you might as well go to an overtime game.
Yeah.
I mean, what good's a 52-0 game? You know what I mean?
We're going to go ahead and move on to our Under the Nest plays. These are the plays that we select, that we choose to share with you. The plays that are forgotten, maybe not the most well-known, or ones that were missed that we like to talk about that influenced or had a big influence on the game. Who do you have and what play?
I would say the blocking downfield on the A.J. Brown touchdown by OZ. I'm not going to even say his name, Zacchaeus. But if you watch that replay, he was probably around 15 yards behind downfield from him, and when Brown made that cut, he come flying by, and he just did the shielding. I mean, maybe he should be on the punt team because the way he shielded those guys and did not, interfere or block.
He didn't block in the back. He didn't.
Just shielded that guy right out of his way, and AJ was able to just strout in. And I'll tell you, that was probably the most exciting play of the game for us at the club,
easily
at the bar, because I mean, we went pretty crazy, and that was the first lead of the game, and then we went for two, and it was just great. But so OZ's blocking downfield, which is great because Smith was down there blocking as well, and you know how we love blocking wide receivers as long as they can catch the ball because we've had some good blockers in the past. But okay, that's my guy, OZ.
Easily the funnest game of the play for us to watch at the bar. Mine's gonna be the same person actually, not the same play. Mine's the Olamide Zacchaeus catch on 3rd and 8 with 2 minutes and 34 seconds left in the fourth quarter. He had an 11-yard catch on 3rd and 8 that was for a first down. It was right after on 2nd and 8 he dropped the ball. It was right in his hands. He dropped it. We were furious. Next play, 11-yard catch for a first down. Changed the game. If we didn't get that, if he didn't catch it, if he didn't get open, probably would have punted there. We weren't in field goal range yet. Probably would have punted there. Let me check and see if we were in field goal range. But it seemed like we probably would have punted there, which would have been, the end of the game would have been given up. So it was. I'm very happy to.
Yeah, I think we would have had a punt there. And I remember because I was pretty furious because we needed that first down. And the two plays before it were pretty bad. So, he made that catch. I really didn't think he was going to make that catch. He was a diving catch, too.
Yeah, it also let us go down to the 2-minute warning. But let's see, he got that catch at the Washington 44.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. We would have he caught that at the 44. So if it was an 11-yard gain, it was on the other side of the 50. So, we'd be punting there and giving up the game.
And they would have had a chance. It was still tied at that point, but still.
Yeah. Well, then we scored our touchdown.
2 plays later.
Our bonehead touchdown. And then they went down and scored on our bonehead defense. But we're going to go ahead and jump over. Do you have anything else to say about the game in a calm manner?
No.
Okay. Go ahead and jump to the roster rundown.
That was calm.
The practice squad pull-ups, we, of course, pulled up Braden Mann, again, to be our punter. And then we pulled up Tristan McCollum as a backup safety because we went in weak on safeties, which I said before the game, and I was right about in the end because then Edmonds had that dropped interception, which was
first drive.
I do have to apologize to everyone who was in the bar. If you're watching, I was screaming. I was cussing. That was the worst play of the game. I was so mad.
Glad Mom wasn't there.
Lost my voice on that play alone. I was so mad, but
well, it was right there. It was tipped at the line by BG.
Yeah.
We finally made a defensive play on that front drive that we couldn't do anything with, and it was right in his hands, and I don't know what he had to do was go like this.
Yeah.
He's trying to catch it up here. It was bad because then, of course, they scored on a fumble into the end zone the next play, I believe.
Yeah.
It was bad.
The very next play. You are right about that.
Yes, thank you. I've been playing over in my mind all night. It was tough.
Yeah, and that was hard. Injuries. Sidney Brown didn't play, of course, which was a little disappointing. It made it a little bit harder for our defense. I think it had a big influence. Same with Justin Evans. I know, these guys, I'm not saying they were playing an all-pro level or anything like that, but they were playing better than Terrell Edmonds and, missing that safety. And Sidney Brown, of course, he was kind of getting that safety slot role, and he was starting to play more as a rookie, and he was learning, and they getting that injury, that really it brought us back a little bit, really affected the team, I believe. Now, the next one that really hurt bad was seeing Cam Jurgens go out. I didn't really notice how much he missed. He only played 28 snaps. We had 71 offensive snaps.
That would have been the first half, quarter.
I was surprised. I didn't even know he missed that much time. And then at one point they show Sua Opeta, and I'm like,
it must have been like second half, where. Because we didn't have many plays in the first half, we didn't have much possession at all in that first quarter at all, just one touchdown. But so it had to be early, and that's the hardest part about when you're not watching it like we used to watch it, where we could,
in a room stuff goes close TV.
Exactly, paying attention 100%. You got distractions and things going on around the place.
Yeah. So Cam Jurgens, the big one though, he looks like he has a sprained foot. I think that's what it was. It's just a sprained foot.
That's better than any.
It is. Suffers a foot sprain. Looks like they listed him as week to week, looking like he's probably going to miss 2 weeks, maybe 1 to 2 weeks. Really bad to see. Again, another player similar to Sidney Brown in a way. I know Sidney Brown's a rookie. Jurgens' second year, or Jurgens, I don't know exactly how to say it, but in his second year, he was playing well. I know the first week he was having a rough time, but he was part of an offense that was rushing for back-to-back 175 yards, 200 yards a game. So he was playing phenomenal, and it's just hard to see a young guy get hurt. He's growing on this team. He's only getting better every single week. And this it's like Nakobe Dean, Sidney Brown. It kind of brings it back, and you're like, dang it, man. Like
we've been injury bitten so far this year. I mean, I say it every week, but hopefully this is the last of that bad. Other teams are losing players too, but like you say, you hate to see a young guy who's just starting to get that starting role. And I thought for sure when Brown went out, I was like, okay, he'll be back. It was just And then same with Evans.
Well, this is where Howie Roseman, as your GM, comes in a major way. He, of course, Sidney Brown was into play. He didn't, he couldn't play. We had Terrell Edmonds, didn't go well. But same thing as last year, we drafted Cam Jurgens. This year we drafted Tyler Steen. About 5 years ago, we drafted Jack Driscoll. This is why you do that, and this is how it shows you how good he is. We have these backups ready. Sua Opeta, he has started games for us. He's ready to come in and play that right guard role. And if something else happens, if he's not playing well, guess what? Tyler Steen, we drafted him to be able to do that. Jack Driscoll, we drafted him to be able to do that.
There was a few talking about maybe Steen starting. Instead of Sua, but I believe he may not be ready. I'd rather stick with Sua, and give him a week with the team, first team, and coaching him up again and getting them back to where we were. But
look, Nick Sirianni already did say that it's going to be Sua.
Okay. Well, it's smart.
Moving on over to off of the Eagles games and Eagles notes and all that stuff. We got some top plays around the league. You want to talk about that?
Yes, I do. I'm going to do a little countdown here. Number 5, I got the Zach Wilson 2-point scramble after they scored a touchdown to tie the game 2020.
That's great.
Could have maybe pulled off the major upset if they didn't get the calls down there in Kansas City, even though they're playing in New York. But there was a couple missed calls in that game. But move on. Diggs from Buffalo broke the tackle of 2 guys for a touchdown down the sidelines, a 55-yarder.
So we get some thunder. Sorry if you're hearing that.
I heard that. And then we got the Jonathan Cooper fumble return when Fields just plopped the ball up in the air.
What a beautiful play by Fields.
He's struggling. I'm not going to pile on. But Nick Bonito was the one that made the hit on that play. We got Devontae Smith, who plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, the 37-yard catch right before half.
Yeah.
Beautiful catch. We got lucky that when he came down, his arm was underneath that ball. That ball never even came close to the field.
Yeah.
Of course, they had to review it for 20 minutes, but that's always fun. And the number 1 was the pick 6 off our favorite quarterback in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins threw a 99-yard touchdown pass the other way.
You like that?
Sam Franklin Jr., 99-yarder. So, yeah, that was my top plays of the weekend.
Cool.
There were some pretty good other games, too.
Yeah.
We had one of our teams lose that we need to lose. So,
yes,
I was happy about that. So.
Yeah, so jumping on over to, of course, just the Eagles rooting guide. We don't go over the whole thing anymore, but we like to touch on the important ones. Eagles beat Washington. That was a divisional game. Huge thing to go up 4-0 and to go up 1-0 in the division early on. Dallas, unfortunately, beat New England 38-3. I watched the first 5 minutes of it, and I was like, yep, I'm good here. I can't do it. Tonight, Seattle and New York play at 6:15 our time, 8:15 Eastern time. It's 5:30 now, so we're going to hopefully get done with this before the game and get to enjoy a nice New York loss tonight. It's hard because we don't really like Seattle either, but, let's go. We got to get that division.
Division first.
Yeah, we got to get that division down.
That's how it works.
As far as outside the division, the pick watch, we, of course, have the Saints' second round pick. They lost to Tampa Bay, which is good, pushes them to 2-2. It also makes us look a little bit better with Tampa Bay winning. That makes them go to 3-1, so it makes our schedule look a little bit better.
Strength of schedule.
Strength of schedule, yeah. 49ers, unfortunately, they beat the Cardinals 35-16. Cardinals started to give them a run for their money, but it ran away from them. Yeah. The Detroit beat Green Bay 34-20 on Thursday. We kind of talked about that last week a little bit. Atlanta lost, which was nice. However, we do kind of want Atlanta to start winning down the stretch because we want them to win the Saints division. Anyone to win the Saints division. We just don't want the Saints going to the playoffs. We want them to have the worst possible pick as possible. Yeah. And then as far as relevance to where we are, we do want to just kind of quick say congrats to the Broncos getting their first win. We're not Broncos fans, but for them to come out, what were they losing, 28-7 at one point? So to win 31-28, that defense got hot, or it didn't get hot. Justin Fields. So it's not really that impressive, I guess.
He's hurt.
That's going to be a rough one. I don't think he's got much longer here or in the league really, but definitely not in Chicago. But we'll see what happens there.
If he loses another, they're still winless, right?
Yes.
So he's got 13, 14 straight losses, 15 straight. Yeah. If he gets to 20, then I think we might see something.
He won 3 games in his career or something like that.
I think so, yeah. Last year was a bad year, but he's got the streak going of 12, 14, something like that.
15 games maybe, yeah. Jumping over to next week, we are going to be playing the Rams in SoFi Stadium. This is probably going to be the best opponent we've played so far. I do feel that way. I know they had a close one against Indianapolis, and Indianapolis isn't really viewed as a great team this year, but the Rams, they've played some good games. I know they lost to the Niners, but the Niners, of course, are looking like the other best team in the league aside from us. The Rams are looking good, and I think Cooper Kupp is going to be coming back. Actually,
Nakua.
Man, he is Puka Nakua.
Maybe cover him.
Puka Nakua. Yeah, right.
10 catches a game or something.
Yeah,
got another big game yesterday.
Yeah,
I just got to get to Stafford. He's a little bit. He's not a scrambler like Baker and even Sam Howell, who I didn't think was a scrambler either.
He's the gunslinger.
Yeah, so, if we can put some pressure on him. But we'll talk about that.
We're going to have a preview, of course, coming out probably Friday or Saturday morning. We'll see when we can record. To jump over to the other sports, Phillies got to 90 wins, which was great. That brought them to 90-72, I believe. Yes. Their first series, the playoffs starts tomorrow for them. They're going to be playing against the Marlins in the first series. Or I don't want to say first series just in case, but the series, the wild card series. Yeah, they're going to be playing the Marlins. 3-game series Tuesday through Thursday in Philly. A little scary of the matchup. Marlins won the series this year 7-6 against the Phillies, so they do kind of have the upper hand on them there. I was really hoping we'd be playing the Diamondbacks. I thought that'd be kind of fun, being that we're from Arizona. Would have been giving me some time to talk some smack to my cousin, to Stefan.
Yeah,
big Diamondbacks fan. But it's going to be playing against the Marlins, so maybe we'll meet them in another round later on.
Just game 1 out of the way. Get that first game.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout-out to Eddie and Janet Danovich, who are going to be going to as the rain pours down, but Eddie and Janet Danovich, we got to see them on Saturday at the Danovich family reunion up in Parker at Johnny's house. I want to give a shout-out to you guys. I know you're going to all 3 games, or just the first game?
Oh, I
think they said all 3, right?
They're.
If not, they're going to the game or all the games, and we hope you have a great time. Go Birds, and more importantly, not more importantly, but for this situation, go Phillies.
There you go.
The Union, another draw. Steve's probably laughing at us right now. I think that's 4 draws in a row for them. The Union they're looking good, but they're just getting draw after draw.
0-0 Baz.
It was 1-1.
Exciting games.
There were some games. There were some scores.
They scored.
Yeah, 1-1. But I know Steve is probably laughing at us talking about soccer.
He's turning us down right now.
Penn State, they won against North. 42-10, 42-13.
Yeah,
41-13 against Northwestern. A little bit closer than I expected at the halftime. I think it was.
Yeah,
it was only 21-13 at the halftime or something like that, but they kind of blew them out in the second half. We'll see. I don't think their ranking is going to go up at all. I don't know if it already did. I don't picture it going up because they just beat Northwestern.
The teams above them.
Yeah, they just beat Northwestern, so it's not like a big deal. But other than that, you got anything else to say as it starts to pour rain outside?
Not really, no. That's crazy that it's going to be pouring out here. But no, not really. I think we said enough.
Gotcha.
I'm glad I kept my tongue in check. I'm glad I kept my language clean.
Yes, absolutely.
I made a few promises yesterday that I was going to do that, so hopefully I stuck to it. We didn't get too much on the referee thing, although we probably could have spent 20 minutes on that.
Easily.
But you know what? Just score points and quit making these boneheaded offensive play calling.
Yeah.
And when it's 2nd and 4, any time of the game, unless you're up by 10, run the dang thing, okay?
I know. I get it. All righty, well, then we'll say our goodbyes. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter or X. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, or rate wherever you're listening or watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple, wherever you are. Like and comment or rate and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you at our email, oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. You can comment below in the comments section on YouTube. Let us know any topics or things you want us to talk about, or any questions you have for us that we'd love to answer on the podcast, or back in email if you don't want us answering that. But once again, this is our Eagles Therapy Podcast. I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
And fly, Eagles, fly.